of our online design festival. It's very good to have Chloe Doyle, the Chatty Freelancer, with us. Another part of what is becoming quite a multidisciplinary sort of festival without really doing it on purpose. We're actually reaching a lot of different corners of the industry and the ways people work and the sort of niches and all the rest of it. So if anybody's got any questions, please drop them into the live chat. Based upon what Chloe's going to walk us through, there'll be a little bit of time at the end for us to do some Q&A, just so that you guys can get as much out of it as possible. So Chloe, I'll throw it over to you and look forward to seeing what you've got for us.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much and welcome everybody. I really appreciate you taking your time out your busy morning, I'm sure, to come and listen to me ramble on. So yeah, I want to say hello and thank you as well for inviting me, Chris, to the Online Design Festival. I'm really excited for this. Not going to lie, I'm a wee bit nervous, but we're just going to roll with it. It's going to be sound. So yeah, we're just going to, there we go. So this is my show reel. So yeah, I'm Chloe. I'm a Chatty Freelancer digital designer who loves to overshare. So just to give you some context, I mainly focus on sort of branding, social media design, motion graphics, video editing. So I'm pretty much a generalist in what I do, but I am 100% a freelancer and I'll never go back. So this is my show reel actually coming out of university. So I'm actually not long graduated, only graduated last year. So I'm still fresh in the industry, even though I've been freelancing for about 2.5 years, nearly 3 years now. But I will get into that in more detail. So yeah, this is just some examples of my work. I'm very colourful, very vibrant. I like to use industry and design as a playground. You know, it should be playful, design should be fun. So that's pretty much what I focus on, in helping people bring bold and purposeful ideas to life, because it's important that we're creating design that is influenced by, you know, proper decisions and not just willy-nilly. So that's what I do. But I am not going to be talking about my work today. If you want to see my work, you can go on my website or my social media. Today, I really want to talk to you guys about going freelance and my sort of personal experience of going full-time freelance without any sort of agency, studio, in-house experience. I literally graduated as a student and just dove straight into freelancing. So yeah, I really wanted to ask you guys actually, I don't know if I can actually see the chat, so hopefully I can, but I wanted to ask everyone that's here, how attainable do you think freelancing is? And if you're already a freelancer, could you let me know what your thoughts and feelings were before you started freelancing in terms of this question? So if you guys can just interact with me and let me know your thoughts on this question, and hopefully I can see the chat. I don't know if you'll be able to see it for me, Chris.
You can't see it, but I'll shout out what pops up.
Because I really want to figure out what everyone's feeling. Oh, here we go. I can see the chat. Brilliant. Here we go. Pretty attainable with some dedication. Seems hard to me in terms of finding clients. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, brilliant. Okay. I think it depends on how you get into it. My plan would be to wind down from full-time agency work and drop the amount of days I do. I can't imagine just diving straight into it without saving to back up. Yep. I've never freelanced, but it's scary to have to manage your finances and set pricing. Absolutely, Libby. Yep. Seems scary after working in-house for years. Yep. Finding recurring clients probably seems the biggest challenge rather than just off jobs. Absolutely. Yeah. So it is, yeah, I'm kind of getting the sense of what I wanted actually was that it is quite a daunting thing. And I also wanted to ask you guys, how does the thought of freelancing make you physically feel? When you think of the word freelancing, going freelancing, how do you feel about that? We've got some more coming in. I'm a student, but I would like to freelance in design and illustration after graduation. Love that, Val. Yes, like the first word that comes to your head. Liberated. Awesome. Yeah, awesome. That's a great word. Freedom. Yep. Exciting and scary. Freedom. Exciting but daunting. Absolutely. It's a very mixed emotions, freelancing. I work better from like 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Can't stand being, what was that? Forced to work 9 a.m. just because I have to. Yeah, Matt, I can relate to that as well. I don't stay up quite that late, but I can totally relate to that. Absolutely. Scared the life out of me initially, but wouldn't change it for the world now. I mean, I love that, Katie. Yeah, so I guess it is a mix of emotions, and I'm happy that you guys said all those things because this next slide wouldn't have made sense if you didn't. So yeah, this is how I think most people feel when they hear the word freelance. And this presentation is going to be full of gifts, by the way. So yeah, that was me anyway. When I thought about freelance, and I was like, holy shit. By the way, swear warning, I swear like a trooper. Apologies in advance if anyone doesn't like swearing. But yeah, this was my thoughts and feelings, and I can imagine you guys feel somewhat similar to this. But hopefully, I think by the end of the day, after listening to my experience and my sort of little golden nuggets of knowledge, I want you to feel like this. I want you to feel a bit more excited about going into freelancing and less daunted going into freelancing. That is my hope anyway. So yeah, let's kick it off. So yeah, I'm going to tell you my story so far. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm just literally going to show you from the right at the beginning my experience of how I managed to get myself into this position as a full-time freelancer without any agency experience, in-house experience, studio experience, anything like that. But it is so far. It is not the full story because this story is still going, and this is the only thing I can do is share my experience. So as I said, the best place to start would be right at the beginning. And when I say the beginning, I mean the absolute beginning, because I want to give you as much context as possible. So the first stage was wee arty Chloe. So this was me, well, this was my higher art piece that I did. Basically what I used to do was draw constantly, and I can imagine everyone here as designers can relate to that. We all started off as drawers, as painters, illustrators. So this was me growing up. I very much loved creativity, and I loved drawing and copying things, and it was just really where my calling was. So yeah, I did that pretty much through high school, and did my higher art. It was the only class that I really liked. So then moving on from high school, I college Chloe 1.0. So I graduated. Do you say graduated from high school? I left high school, went straight to college, did illustration for a full year. I did like it, but I basically just took the absolute piss because it was, I was 18, I was coming out of high school, and I was getting, loan money in. So I was just going out all the time, and I was getting drunk, and I was saving my money and going on holidays. I think this is me in Magaluf. Oh my God, I couldn't imagine myself in Magaluf now. So yeah, I was just taking the mickey, and I did the illustration course, and then I did photography as well. I've got a really keen interest in photography. I find it really quite therapeutic, and I enjoy it as like a hobby now for myself. But before, I wanted to do it as a career. But I remember on my first day, the lecturer actually just said straight out to all of us, like, you are going to really struggle to get a job in this industry, and that sort of scarred me and put me off photography completely. So yeah, again, just went back to the pub. I was like, you know what, if this isn't going to work, I'm just going to go to the pub. So that was me for the first time I went to college. But during this time, I actually got a job in hospitality, and I was doing that part-time as I was at college, but I was really loving it, and I kind of convinced myself that it was my calling. So I just sort of put creativity and drawing to the back burner, and I was like, maybe hospitality is it. Like, maybe I can just like do people's weddings for the rest of my life. And I was really progressing well in it. I got a supervisory role, and I was in charge of a team, and we had so much fun. I mean, the hours were shit. It was like 40 hours within like 3 days and a weekend, and it was just like, at the time, it was like the adrenaline, and I loved it. But coming home, my feet were sore and I was tired. So yeah, I just kind of did that for about 5 years, maybe 5-6 years. Thought I was loving it. I actually decided to go to college to study hospitality. I lasted 3 months because they basically said you need to cook. I was like, I don't want to be a chef. I want to be an event manager. Like, what the hell? So that totally put me off, and I actually quit that job. And I got a job full time in Thomas Cook, I believe, which is now not a thing. So I left hospitality. I was like, you know what, it's not for me. So during this time, like moving from hospitality to just doing like some jobs here and there and working in different fields, travel agency, I worked in finance for a bit. Comeback Chloe arrived because I found my love for creativity again, and I started doing digital illustrations using a Wacom tablet. I'd never done that before in my life. Never really done digital design at all, really. So I just started teaching myself, and I actually started drawing people as Hogwarts students. as a sort of like side hustle whilst I was working full time. And I was just doing a lot of like kind of fan art, as you would call it, because I love movies. Anyone that knows me, I love movies, I love TV shows. Like that's just one of my favorite things in the world. So yeah, I started doing that and just really experimenting and putting myself out there on Instagram and, you know, running this little small business of drawing portraits, which was actually really, really fun. So this is all digital, did it on Photoshop. People fucking love Harry Potter. Bloody hell. People are obsessed. Like, honestly, I was shocked at the amount of people that wanted one of these, but it was win-win for me. So yeah, I found my creativity again, which was amazing. So from there, I decided, right, I need to do this more. I need to do more digital design. I love it. I want to do more sort of graphic design and explore what it is. So college Chloe 2.0. So I decided to go to the City of Glasgow College to do a digital media course, which was a 2-year course. Fantastic. Oh my God, I felt right at home. I was like, this is it. I was like, oh my God, I know what I want to do now, and it's digital design. And we did things like motion graphics, UI, UX design, poster design, like you name it, we done it. And it was honestly one of the best years of my life. I met a lot of great friends through that course, and the course leaders were amazing. So from there, I decided to go to university to study digital design. It was a bachelor's, honours bachelor's. I don't know the names of these things, but anyway, so I went to do digital design at the Glasgow Caledonian University, and at this time I was also experimenting a lot with type and just finding my sort of style and what I like doing. And I actually set up like an Etsy store, and I was selling prints as I was at university studying. I moved out for the first time, which was fantastic. Oh my God, like I love my mum, but oh my days, well, moving out was one of the best things I've ever done. So yeah, I moved out into Glasgow with a flatmate, and yeah, I started really just finding myself and my sort of what I really enjoyed about design. And for me, that was color, that was funky typefaces and illustrative assets. And I was just really having a lot of fun and creating some cool stuff and selling it, which was also fun. And that was a learning experience and kind of stood me in good stead when it came to like taking that leap into freelancing, because I had knowledge of like running an Etsy business and packaging everything, printing everything, buying everything, and like promoting everything as well. So I built a really nice Instagram presence, and I was in a community that I was really enjoying, small business community, and learning a lot about myself in terms of design. So that actually led to someone reaching out to me who'd seen my designs on social media, because I was putting myself out there a lot. And I actually managed to land my first freelance client who, yeah, basically reached out. It was like, we would like to commission you for a piece. And I was like, right, fantastic, absolutely. And I went onto her Instagram and I was like, okay, she's actually legit. This isn't like a piss take. Like, you know, some messages is like, you know, those spam messages, like, we have an amazing opportunity for you. So it was real, which was amazing. So I started doing some work for her, and then actually managed to land a part-time freelance role with this brand. And I was able to do that as I was at university, but this meant that I had to take a back step from Etsy things and concentrate on freelance Chloe and how to look after a client. I'd never looked after a client before, especially like a retainer client or someone that was coming to me, and I had to work that out. So I had to just put Etsy stuff in the back burner and concentrate on that and my uni work and get my degree. So yeah, then it came to graduated Chloe. So throughout my university experience, I was very much that sort of very talkative person who wouldn't shut up and would always be trying to find people to work with, to talk to. And I was very much a yes woman as well. Any opportunity came through the class, my lecturers, I'd be like, I'll do that, absolutely. And they were always like, Chloe, what are you doing? You're overcommitting. I'm like, it's fine. I just want to try as many things as humanly possible. So I really threw myself into my university experience and made use of all the connections that I could make through that course and all the people we were exposed to, because the course is fantastic for industry connections. We get a mentor in our last year from industry, which is sensational. So I had people that were working in JP Morgan and Chase, and I still talk to them today, and we go to events in Glasgow and things. By the way, I'm in Glasgow, if you didn't really know already. I haven't even said that. I'm in Scotland, if you hadn't already realised. So yeah, that whole uni experience was fantastic for me, and I was really proud that I had left with like a first class honours, and I was honestly elated because I was never always that confident, talkative person, and it took me a long time to get there, and I just sort of used uni to like reinvent myself of who I actually wanted to be, and I knew for a fact that freelancing was the way for me, because to be quite honest, I really don't like people telling me what to do. And I really don't like people like micromanagement. Like, I just can't deal with like environments like that where people are just nasty, they're shit at their job, and you can't say anything because you'll either get sacked or not. Like, that just wasn't for me. I was too headstrong, and I just knew that doing the part-time freelancing, I was like, hey, like, this is actually amazing, and no one's telling me what my schedule is, and no one's telling me I need to put in holiday. Why do I need to tell people when I want to go on holiday? Like, that is a crazy notion to me. Like, what the hell? Like, no, if I want to go on holiday, I'll be going on holiday. So I seen freelancing as an opportunity to do that. And it was sort of like, right, well, how do I make this a thing full time when I leave university? So yeah, I guess this is maybe the question you're asking, like how did you leave and get full-time freelance work in order to, like, you know, keep yourself financially stable, because that is one of the bigger worries for freelancing, is this like security. So yeah, basically these are the sort of three ways that I secured freelance work coming out of university. And one of them was like expanding my network. And I know this sounds so mundane and everyone talks about it. I wish there was another word for network, because it's a shit word. But expanding my network, as I said in university, like, I was always trying to like say yes to opportunities and talk to people and expand everything that was going on. So a great example of this was actually my dissertation. So for my dissertation, I wanted to create a tool that would help entrepreneurial students get access to better resources that are much easier to understand. So what I did was, for research, I posted on LinkedIn. I was like, can anyone help me? I need to speak to someone who's in the entrepreneurial space. And then someone that I actually knew from networking previously, I think they were from college. Yeah. She tagged someone that she knew, and his name was John Hamilton. And then he was like, absolutely, Chloe, I want to help you out. Let's book in a call. So I was like, great, let's talk to each other. So we got a call in, me and John, and I spoke to him about what he's doing. He basically provides a sort of facility for entrepreneurs to come together every single week and break through those challenges and break through those barriers, and actually make them help them make progress in their entrepreneurial journey, be that freelancing, be that in, you know, business or charity or whatever. So really loved what he was doing, and he was just at the start of his business idea and building it and things, and he was like, we could really work together. So from that, we collaborated on my dissertation, and he let me join his network for free. Again, that was a space full of people trying to do the same thing as me, not work for anybody else, and want to just do their own thing and build something out with the norm. So from there, I helped him grow his business through the collaborator and dissertation. I made a successful dissertation. I was really proud of it. From joining the network, I made connections with other people, like-minded people, and I can't even see what my other thing. Yeah, I grew my own business, because basically I was able to put myself in a space where people needed designers or needed help with design, because there was not really many people in that network who were designers. Pretty much I was the only one. So any design needs that anyone else had, I could either do it or I could refer them on to someone who could. And then from there, I gained a lot of entrepreneurial experience, because I was learning from all these other people and how they could help me. I found 3 clients. At this time, I found 3 clients. I've got more now, but and I think 2 of them are retainer clients. One of them I've still got now, and that was just from putting myself in that space and just connecting with these people, and also started a podcast, but I'll talk about that later on because this allowed me to start a podcast, which was insane. And yeah, grew my confidence, my skill set, totally excelled because I was learning faster. I think we can learn so much more and so much quicker if we speak to each other, if we share each other's experiences. And I just think what I'm involved in now with it's called Young and Lazy, by the way, the network that I'm a part of. Like, I was just able to just really flourish, which was amazing, and I flourished really quickly because of the people that I was surrounded with. And yeah, to this day I'm still continuing to add to my client portfolio through this network, because people will always just come to me because they know I'm a designer and they know I know designers, and I've actually been able to give other designers opportunities through being in this network, which is crazy. But that is just an example of like one of the networks. There's also other networks, like just freelance networks as well, and speaking to other people in this space. And they've got the Freelancer magazine, and actually need to go to more of their events because they look awesome. You've got so many events in Glasgow that you can go to as well. So that's just an example of one of the networking opportunities that I had and kind of what it led to, because it really does have a butterfly effect. So number 2 is just put it plainly. Like, I don't want this to sound really vague, but I'll talk about it more. But I just was showing that I actually gave a shit and I gave a crap about what I was actually doing. And a good example of this was at university. We did a live client project, and basically we had to design this campaign sub-brand for the charity organisation called Social Shifters. And we did this as a group task in university, and it was actually used in real life, which was amazing. But because I put my all into this, and I made a filter. Look at the state of me. I made a filter and everything for this project. And I just loved it. I love what they were doing. I love what their values were. Everything about the brand was amazing, and I had a lot of fun creating for it. And they remembered that, and they remembered it so well that they actually asked me to be the student ambassador for this campaign on the campus. So I'm going to play this wee video. It's actually quite embarrassing, but this is just an example of like things that you can do out with design within freelance. It's just, yeah, not your usual. So I don't know how loud this is going to be. Let me just turn my little volume down. Hopefully you can hear it as well.
Hi, I'm Chloe, and I'm taking part in this year's Social Shifters Student Innovation Challenge, and I think you should too. If you've got a social enterprise idea, pitch yours and you could receive £1,000 cash reward as well as expert one-to-one coaching. So get your shift on and get your application in for the 28th of February.
So yeah, so the designs got passed on to their designer, James Ferguson, who was amazing, and he basically just took all of our design stuff and just made it even better. And then I was back on board with the brand for a wee while to be their brand ambassador, which was a lot of fun. But kind of finished uni, and then at the start of this year, actually, because they remembered me and how much I cared about that project and all the effort that I put in, they actually asked me to come on as pretty much a freelance designer for them at the start of the year, and a sort of retainer basis, to work like 2 set days a week, and just to help them out with, their graphic design needs. And they've also asked me to be a part of their podcast, which they've launched. So I'll just show you a piece of work. I know I said I wasn't going to show work. Oh no, it's not here. No, it is. So recently we've just created this sub brand for the podcast, and I'm really, really proud of it. But this is just an example of like how showing that I was so passionate about something led to them remembering me and then being like, we want Chloe on this team. Like, we need Chloe on this team. Like, she's too passionate and she's perfect for it. So let's get her on. So this is just an example of a piece of work that we've created recently. I'll just play a wee bit of it.
Hello, I'm the co-founder of Social Shifters. This is the Social Shifters podcast. In this podcast, I'll be speaking to incredible young people from all over the world, leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs, all tackling social and environmental issues that matter to them most. Listen in to hear top tips from some of the most incredible young minds on the planet.
Yeah, so even like looking back on the stuff that I produced in university and now in the more present time with this brand, like it's just the growth is in crazy in terms of my design skills and things. So it's just really nice to look back on that. But yeah, that all came from just me really being really passionate and showing how much I loved it and the energy that I had for it. So number 3 is I got in my comfort zone a lot. And an example of this would be for the person that actually reached out to me the first ever time, my first ever freelance client, which is Grow with Joe. And basically I knew that I could do more work for this brand, and I was shitting myself to ask them for more work and to say, look, I could do more for you. And you know, obviously that comes with the conversation of a price increase, which for freelancers is like really terrifying. So I really got out my comfort zone with this brand throughout my whole journey with this brand, actually, and asked for a increase in wage and money, and I also asked for an increase of work because I wanted to do more for them, and that has sort of led to me be more comfortable to do that every single time, because her brand is growing ridiculously and I know that I need to move with that as well. So yeah, just getting outside my comfort zone has really helped me secure more work, because I've always been really nervous when it comes to things about money, and asking for more money or having that conversation surrounding money. But getting out my comfort zone and just doing it, because 9 times out of 10 they will understand, and hopefully they'll say, well, you know what, yeah, that makes sense, let's do it. And when I mean that happened when I said to her, she was like, absolutely, like absolutely we'll pay you more, and absolutely we can give you more work, we want you to do more for this brand. So it's like you getting outside your comfort zone in terms of clients that you already have or people you already know, and showing the value of what you can do and how much more you can do for them, and then putting a price on it. So that really helped me secure a retainer with this brand as well, and it's quite a good retainer, and it's more of a security blanket for me as well, which is great. But I love this gift, it makes me laugh so much. When I was leaving and I had this work secured, and you know I was overcommitting and things, oh my god, did reality hit me like a ton of bricks. I had been on a high for so long in university, and I was like, yes, full-time freelancing, let's do it, I can do it. Said yes to these opportunities, was putting myself out there, was securing work, and then I hit a massive low because I had overwhelmed myself, and also I had accepted the realities of full-time freelancing, and it scared the living daylights out of me. I was like, oh my god, I'm actually doing this, oh my god, I don't have a job, oh my god, can I do this? So these are some of the things that are coming through my head, was like inconsistent work, wearing all hats, less security, overwhelm, and isolation as well, which was a big thing. So these were sort of going through my head sort of maybe a month after leaving university and doing the full-time freelance thing, and I was like pretty much like, shit, should I just give up and get a job? Because I was feeling horrendous. My mental health wasn't great at all, and I was accepting the realities of what this could be, and I was in a very negative mindset. And I was like, who do I think I am? Who do I think I am leaving university and freelancing full time without any industry, without any in-house agency or studio experience? This isn't normal. You only ever hear people like going freelance after like 10 years of being in-house or an agency or industry or whatever it is. So I had a lot of imposter syndrome and I wasn't feeling too good. But then I remembered how much I did not like working for someone else and how much I loved being in charge of what I was doing. And I was like, no. I was like, I'm not getting a job. Absolutely not. Like, no bloody way am I getting a job. Like, that's out of the question. I'm going to make it work. So I took all those, how did I keep on going? Basically, I just took all those negative thoughts that I was having and I tried to change them up and switch them around and try and be a bit more positive. So then consistent work, there's an abundance of work out there. No matter what anyone tells you, if you put yourself in positions where you can get work, there is so much out there. Social media is saturated to hell. Like, there's people who need social media designs, people who need branding, there's people who need rebranding, there is an abundance of work out there. It's just finding those opportunities. learning all the aspects. So yeah, wearing all the hats in freelancing, like finances and everything like that, was very daunting. But I thought to myself, well, this is an opportunity for me to learn things about myself and things that I know I could be capable of in terms of other sides of the freelance life, which are the more admin things outside of design, which aren't the best and not the most fun. But it's an opportunity to learn about them and get better at them. And yeah, so life security, retainers and contracts are your best friends. If you can land retainers, honestly, try your absolute best to do it, because they're, I mean, obviously you could say this with anything, right? People say life security with freelancing. Who says you've got security with a job? Like, you could get fired, like you could get sacked. Like, isn't that just sort of similar to, you know, a client turning around and saying, we can't keep you on anymore, or whatever it is. And contracts as well, like for me, having things in place where it's like, right, you need to give me 30 days notice if we're going to cease this relationship or this work. So that those really helped me in terms of feeling a bit more secure. And I know there were ways around that when it came to freelancing. Overwhelm, I took a step back because I was saying yes to absolutely everything, and that wasn't working out for me. So I had to take a step back and reassess everything that I was doing. What did I want to do? Who did I want to work with? And what did I want to do for myself? Like, passion projects as well have led me to finding freelance work, because you put yourself out there the way you want to put yourself out there. And that's really helped me, because now I'm working on a podcast with someone else after they see me do my own podcast, you know what I mean? And when it comes to isolation, I had to just get my arse back out there. Like, I was just feeling so lonely. I was like, freelance life is going to be so lonely. But I couldn't have been more wrong, to be quite honest. I have never been more surrounded by people, like-minded people that I love, that I cherish, that are going to help me grow, that want to support me, that understand me and what I'm doing. So put yourself out there into situations where, like, you can go to events, you know, there's so many in your area. I can imagine if you just go out and look for them, find fellow freelancers, creatives that want to do the same thing as you as well, and you will not feel alone. So where am I now? So yeah, I am in charge, Chloe. All those past Chloes, I'm now in charge, Chloe. I feel much more confident in terms of my freelance journey, and I feel much more in control, and I know I can be in control because that's what freelance gives me that opportunity to decide who I want to work with, how I want to work with them as well. And I've also started a podcast. So this podcast is basically my extension of my love for this freelance world, and sharing my honest experiences and the ups and downs and the realities of it. It's not preachy. It's literally just me chatting shit, talking about pies and movies and all the other stuff, but it's really, really fun to do, and it's given me a creative outlet, which I think is really important as well as a designer, is to have a creative outlet for yourself. So yeah, it's just built around experience and knowledge, and I'm chatting to more industry professionals, which is really fun as well. And I've just done a graduate series, so giving other people an opportunity to get outside their comfort zones and put themselves out there as well, and try and find some work in some sort of way, in a different way. So yeah, my top learnings from my freelance experience so far, I would say your personal brand is vital. So I wish I'd started working on my personal brand sooner, because this has really helped me find work. Again, as a creative outlet, and people are seeing who I am before they even reach out to me, and they're able to say, I want to work with this person, I love what they're doing. So I would say definitely consider working on your personal brand and who you are, what your values are, and what work you want to bring in. Because when you project who you are, you're going to get people who you will work well with, and will respond well to you as well. And also be assertively nice. So I was too nice for far too long. Again, was saying yes to everything, but I was too nice in terms of communicating with clients and going above and beyond for them when I probably shouldn't have, and like doing things for a lower price point. And, you know, I guess you need to do that at the start anyway to get your foot in the door. But it gets to a point where you're saying, no, I need to be assertive, but I also still need to be kind. And that's something that I practice now. And it actually helps with workflow, and in terms of like building relationships with clients that are got boundaries set, and also, you know, there's respect there as well, because that's really important. And also I I've learned that you will always be figuring shit out, always. Like, you'll never have it all figured out. Like, I certainly bloody don't. Like, I don't even have my pension set up. Like, there's so many things I don't have like sorted right now. So this, I think, for me, has really helped me mentally, is just realizing this and being like, it's all right, Chloe. Like, you'll just apply that to the next thing. And freelancing is pretty much this in a nutshell. Like, you're just literally day to day figuring stuff out, which is fine. So right now I'm still learning. This is me on a very sunny day in Lochinver eating lots of pies. I was so happy. But this is so this is me now. I am very much at the beginning of my journey. I don't like to put labels on things. I don't say I'm a junior designer or a senior designer or a middleweight designer. I don't like that. I'm a designer. If you like my work, if you like what I do, fantastic. Let's work together. I'm still learning, and that's the most liberating thing in the world, is if you recognise that, and that's what's really propelled me in my freelance career and helped me gain a better mindset. So how do you feel now, guys, about freelancing? I want to see how you're feeling now. So if you could put into the chat after listening to my experience, has your mindset changed, like, even a smidge? If it hasn't, that's absolutely fine, but just give me your honest thoughts. I want to know all about it. I'm going to bring up this chat again.
Excuse me, Claire, just while that's happening, that's a mate. I really, really appreciate that. It's so nice. But what shines through for me is just, you seem to be in a place where you're just being yourself.
Yes.
No, I think our industry has a tendency to sort of try and force people to uphold a design persona. You know, we have to have perfected the craft before, you know, anything else, and you have to sort of, you know, uphold some sort of strange concept of being like a perfect designer, as opposed to just being individual and showing your personality, and that's what people buy, isn't it?
Yes, 100%. No, they absolutely do. That's why I'm saying, like, I wish I'd started my personal brand sooner, because I probably would have found work even quicker, because, as you say, people buy into personalities, and they want to work with me not because of my design work, but because of who I am as well, which is a really nice feeling, actually. I say that out loud.
Also, that idea of personal brand, I think that can be quite daunting, can't it? Because that's somehow taken its own, you know, it's been owned by a few people that are very high profile. And I think the idea is that they've taken it over, and people feel like they should follow that route. But you can do it in so many different ways, can't it? It's just about sort of being consistent, isn't it? And sort of having values and sort of things that other people can connect with and share.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Like, I've pretty much, I describe this as, like, I've totally not blocked out everybody, that sounds ridiculous, but, like, I don't really, like, I do look up to people, but I don't look up to people, because I feel like you can be sort of influenced by their successes and what they're doing, and compare yourself as well. There's a fine line between comparison and inspiration, and, you know, I try to just say, I'm doing my own thing, I'm riding my own lane, that's absolutely fine. And, you know, if I feel inspired by someone, I'll let them know as well. I'll take inspiration, I'll let them know, but I'm not going to get into myself about what they're doing and how they're succeeding and what they're up to. Like, I try not to find validation in external success, because that can be really, really detrimental. And like, people are like, you know, you've not succeeded as a freelance designer if you haven't, like, worked for Adidas or Nike or something, if you haven't done a big campaign for, like, these people. And I'm like, sack that. I'm very happy doing, like, work for a charity or an organization and just do my little bit. You know, I don't need validation from these big projects. I just don't. And you're not, that's not success to me anyway.
Exactly, brilliant in terms of the reaction, the opposite really of where we started, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just reading these chat messages and see if there's any questions in there.
Just lots of love by the looks of it.
There's so many.
I have plenty, if that's okay.
Oh, I mean, go for it. Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to, because I've been through quite a lot of this myself, and still do at times. Is there a reason for freelance instead of starting a business? And obviously freelance is a business, but in terms of having a studio title, there's always that question, isn't there? People, do you go freelance and you put yourself out there, you know, you're fronting it, or do you create a studio and have some obscure name it makes it sometimes seem bigger than it is?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I actually spoke about that to someone quite recently, and I think it really depends on what you want. Like, I actually wanted to create a studio. Like, that's what I see myself doing. I see myself building a studio and having that name and that obscure name and like having that small studio and doing things. But that would lead to me becoming a thing that I don't like, which is managing people and giving people hours and things like this. And I don't want to do that. Like, I really like the idea of being able to give people freedom and the work that they're doing. And for me personally, anyway, I just see myself doing freelancing and that's it. And being just me, and I do delegate. Like, I'll outsource some of my work whenever I want to free up my time or whatever it is. But I don't do it under like a studio name or anything like that. I just, I bring on a fellow freelancer and we work together and we collaborate. It's very much a collaborative experience. And I don't, yeah, it's really up to whatever anyone wants. Some people might want to build a studio. That's absolutely fine. For me personally, I don't see myself going down that route. I want to facilitate opportunities for other freelancers and help them get opportunities to build their own life, freelance life. That's what I see happening.
Maybe a bit more rigid when I started out, because that was a long time ago. The idea that everybody started a studio, that was it. But now the opportunities, I think, for freelancers so much more, because freelance was pretty much individuals that didn't want the restrictions of work hours. I think Matt had mentioned it, like the 9 to 5. Didn't like that because it's hard to sort of say you've got to be creative within a set amount of time, because we all know that that doesn't work like that. But I think a lot of freelancers then basically farm their services back to studios at quite a high day rate. But now you don't. That's not your evidence that you don't need to do that. You can do it without having to rely upon studios to pass on work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you're at the forefront as well, like, it's really good for personal growth. Like, that's how I've become, like, I do like talking and I do like the comms part of freelancing, and I wouldn't get that if I was like getting things passed to me from like studios or whatever it is. Like, I like being at the forefront and I like talking to the client directly. I like being there and understanding what it is they need and helping them out. But yeah, it's like, yeah, I think, yeah, it's really it's such a big thing, like, because I don't like to give recommendations or give like advice. Like, I always feel quite coy when I'm giving advice, because I'm like, I feel like I can only just share my experience. You see what I mean?
Well, the first thing I think anybody can do is sort of say, this is how I did it, now go and do it like this. And it's a bit like, I really like LinkedIn as a because I've found or built a community around other creatives. I don't use it for clients or business. I'm not really interested in that sort of side of it. But when you see these posts about, I'm a millionaire, now do what I did to become a millionaire, it's impossible, because it's based on circumstance or luck or being in the right place at the right time. There's a lot of things involved. So sort of trying to tell people to do it in a way that you did it is never going to work for somebody else. So it's a good place to be. I was just asked here about what's the design scene like in Scotland, and maybe also away from where you are, because obviously Glasgow and Edinburgh are huge, aren't they? Do you know much more about the rest of the country, and because they're looking to move there soon?
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, the design scene in Scotland is I mean, I'm going to be biased here, but it is brilliant. It is brilliant, especially Glasgow, because it's like it's actually quite a small community in Glasgow. Like, everyone sort of knows everyone, strangely. But there's so many events that go on, like Ladies Wine and Design, Gab, which is a fantastic event and is run by the most humble guy in the world, which is Graham from Jam Hot. He's awesome, and I think the design scene in Glasgow as well is very inclusive and diverse, and from what I see anyway, everyone's just wanting to help everybody. I feel like there's not much sort of like competition from what I get from the people that I talk to in Glasgow and Scotland. Like, everyone is just there to support each other and shout out about each other and lift everybody up, and it's a lovely space to be in. And there's a lot of thriving studios, a lot of really cool studios in Glasgow. from the talks I've been to anyway. Like they're just awesome. In terms of the rest of the country, I've actually never been to an event out with Scotland, which is crazy. Like I probably should, but I know that, I mean, actually no, I think it's starting today. There's a Birmingham Design Festival. I think, is it the motion? It's like a motion graphics design festival in Birmingham, and I think it's happening today. I've heard that's amazing. I know someone who has been to that, and I think she's away today as well, and it looks awesome. As well as like Manchester too. I feel like those places are really thriving as well in design.
We've had quite a few people from Scotland on our talks. Chris Wilson, who runs Stickman Studios in Glasgow, he was on earlier this week. Later today, we've got Piers from Loom Graphics, and they're based right in the north.
Yeah.
And last year, we also had Where Giants Roam, and they're based really north, and they're amazing. They do 3D animated graphics for.
Yeah, they spoke at Gab. Yeah, they both spoke at Gab, the last one that I went to. Yeah, they're incredible.
The couple that run it, you know, and especially where they're based, they seem to get great talent. It's incredible to see that they're generating, you know, especially where they are. You sort of, I think again, it's maybe it's a myth. We're sort of told that London, Bristol, etc., are the hotspots where everyone should be, but it's simply not true. There's just great talent everywhere.
Exactly.
I'm very conscious of the time, folks, and I know I've asked a lot of questions because I've got another one of these coming up very, very quickly. For anybody that anybody that would like a recording, please let me know. I can email you. But anybody that would like to connect with you, Chloe, and maybe ask questions privately, there you go. Where do they find you? The perfect slide.
There you go. Here's something that I prepared earlier. Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Chatty Freelancer, LinkedIn, I'm Chloe Marie Doyle, and also Spotify, the Chatty Freelancer. But yeah, I can see, like, I'm scrolling up, there's a few questions here. I would absolutely love it if you could message me directly, because I would really like to help you out and answer your questions to the best of my ability, so you can get that question answered, because I feel quite bad.
I also agree that networking is a horrific word, but you know, this is how building connections really happens, and the power of it, and sharing information, and people are really willing to do it. So Chloe, I really appreciate your time. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Like I say, there'll be a recording available if anybody would like one, and it'll be great to catch up in the near future and do some more things together.
Yes, amazing.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Take care. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll speak to you all soon.
Thank you. Bye.